All right, folks, welcome back to the range. Today we're diving into a fresh top 10. Not recycled, not in the same tired order you've seen before. I've mixed it up, reshuffled the lineup, and built a list that highlights the revolvers that actually matter when you've got powder in the air. These are the 10 wheel guns that balance real-world carry, accuracy, recoil management, and pure shooting satisfaction. Some of them are built to vanish under a cover shirt, others to hold steady in the field when the stakes are high. I'll be calling calibers the way we actually speak at the line. 357 Magnum, 45 Colt, 38 Special, and I'll give you the pros and cons that matter when you're on the trigger, not just flipping through a catalog. So, stick around. By the end of this list, you'll know which revolver earns your trust and deserves a spot in your safe, or maybe even on your hip. Number 10. Ruger LCRX. This little chassis is a clever piece of engineering. Polymer frame, stealthy recoil frame insert, and a trigger that will surprise you for a light, pocketable wheel gun. The LCRX feels like someone took everything that annoys you about snub-nose recoil and tried to fix it without turning it into a brick. Ergonomics. The grip shape is slim but usable. It tucks into the hand and gives a decent thumb index for shooting one-handed or from a concealment holster. The indexable grip panels help a lot if you've got bigger hands. You don't feel like you're shooting a toy. Trigger and follow-ups. The double-action pull is snappy but consistent. It's not a target trigger, don't expect miracles, but because it's predictable, you can train good follow-ups instead of fighting inconsistent breaks. That predictability is gold when you're doing defensive strings. Recoil note: push 38 Special plus P through it, and you'll get a brisk, snappy impulse, but the LCRX's chassis soaks it better than most other lightweight revolvers. If you want to run 357 Magnum occasionally, expect it to be stout. Practice with lighter loads first. Where it shines, concealability with modern design that actually helps you shoot it well. It's an excellent bridge between tiny snubs and larger frame revolvers, especially for CCW folks who want more shootability than a pocket snub. Where it loses points. If you're chasing paper precision or long strings at the range, the short sight radius and compact frame limit what you can realistically achieve. Also, holster options are narrower than for more common frames. Pro tip from the line: run a lot of lighter practice rounds and focus on trigger cadence. The LCRX rewards smooth inputs more than brute force. Short verdict: a modern, pocketable revolver that actually behaves, great for everyday carry if you prioritize concealment without throwing away controllability. Number 9. Taurus Judge. The Judge is one of those guns that makes you rethink what multi-roll means. It'll chew through 410-bore shot shells and 45 Colt rounds, and that mix gives it a versatility most handguns don't offer. In your hand, it's a truck of a revolver, heavy for a short-barrel wheel gun, but that weight is exactly what tames recoil and turns loud blasts into something you can manage. Ergonomics. The grip is big and takes up real estate on your hand, which helps when you're launching shot shells or hard-cast 45 Colt. It's not a stealth carry piece. It's a purposeful tool you wear when you want intimidation and stopping power over concealment. Trigger and handling. Double-action follow-ups are deliberate. Don't expect lightning strings like a striker-fired pistol, but you will get meaningful, controllable hits when you work the trigger properly. The Judge rewards measured cadence more than flurries. Recoil note: with 410 shot shells, it's stout, but softish, thanks to the shot spread. With 45 Colt, you'll feel a thick push. Again, that mass helps absorb it. Practice with both types so you understand point-of-impact shifts and follow-up timing. Where it shines, close quarters deterrence and short-distance stopping power, plus the psychological factor. Nobody wants to see that cylinder. Great for truck, trail duty, where concealment isn't the priority. Where it loses points: bulky, heavy, and not suited for deep concealment or long strings of rapid-fire target work. Also, ammo choice matters. Mismatched loads will affect POI and recoil dramatically. Pro tip from the bench: run defensive drills with the same ammo you'd carry. If you plan on shot shells, practice rapid target transitions. If you favor 45 Colt, Practice controlled single-action precision at the longer edge of its effective range. Short verdict: the Judge isn't subtle, but it's honest. A niche wheel gun that does a few things very well. Pick it if you want multi-role utility and your fine carrying size and weight for real-world power. Number 8. Henry Golden Boy Revolver. You don't see a Henry Golden Boy on a serious list and walk away without a smile. It's got that classic lever-action vibe, polished brass, and it shoots 22 LR like a friendly tutor. This one isn't about stopping power. It's about training, marksmanship fundamentals, and the joy of smooth, reliable rimfire shooting. Ergonomics. The stock-style grip and longer sight radius are forgiving. It points like a rifle should, and that longer sight picture makes accurate shots at 25 yards feel almost effortless compared to a snub. If you want follow-up speed, the lever action gives a pleasant cadence that becomes rhythm rather than a chore. Trigger and control. The single-action feel on most Golden Boys is clean and intuitive. You can index the trigger and the lever in a flow that encourages smooth shots and deliberate trigger presses. It's a great teacher for sight alignment and trigger discipline. Recoil note. You'll barely notice it. 22 LR is light, which lets you practice fundamentals without a recoil penalty. That low impulse is exactly why this makes a strong case for being on a practical list. Build skills here, carry them to bigger guns. Where it shines: training, small game plinking, and nostalgic range fun that also builds core shooting skills. If you want a gun that trains good habits, grip, sight picture, trigger control, this is a top pick. Where it loses points: it's not a defensive tool, not designed for EDC, and its utility in serious defensive contexts is basically nil. Also, brass finishes need care to keep that classic look. Pro tip from the line: use quality match-grade 22 LR for drills you care about. The Golden Boy will reward steady inputs with consistent POI, so treat it like your skill development platform. Short verdict: the Henry Golden Boy earns a spot because it forces you to practice the fundamentals in a pleasant, repeatable package. Not a carry gun, but a skill builder everyone should respect. Number 7. Ruger GP100 Match Champion. If you want a revolver that feels like it was built to eat 357 Magnum for breakfast and still sit pretty on the target, this is it. The GP100 Match Champion wears a beefy barrel and a heavier top strap that soaks recoil and gives a surprisingly steady sight picture for a wheel gun. Ergonomics. The grip frame is generous, the rubberized panels tame muzzle flip, and the gun balances well in the hand. You can point it naturally and hold steady for controlled pairs or slow, precise single-action hits. It doesn't hide its weight. It uses it. Trigger and accuracy. The Match Champion's action is tuned for consistent breaks, and the sighting setup, fiber front or adjustable rear depending on model, makes it a pleasure to call your shots. On the range, you get predictable follow-ups and the sort of groups that reward deliberate technique. Recoil note. When you run 357 Magnum through this frame, it's brisk but civilized. The mass and the barrel profile turn what could be a snappy wallop into a push you can manage with a solid grip and stance. With 38 Special, it becomes an easy, flatter shooting trainer for defensive drills. Where it shines: durability and repeatable accuracy under real-world stress. It's a revolver that's equally at home in practical competition, heavy-duty carry for those who prefer wheel guns, and as a backyard hammer for serious practice. Where it loses points: not ideal if you're chasing minimal carry weight. This one asks to be worn on a strong belt or kept as a range backup piece. Also, its size makes concealment trickier. Pro tip from the line: pair it with a holster that supports the weight and practice the reload cadence. The GP100 rewards muscle memory more than brute force. Short verdict: a workhorse that shoots like a smaller target revolver, built tough and tuned to make 357 Magnum feel usable rather than terrifying. Number 6. Smith & Wesson 686 Plus. The 686 Plus is the sort of revolver that quietly reminds you why wheel guns stuck around. Solid steel, predictable beat, and a frame that treats 357 Magnum and 38 Special like variations on the same theme. If you want a gun, you can train with every week and still trust in a pinch. This is a top-tier option. Handling and ergonomics. The 686 Plus gives you a comfortable grip frame and a longer sight radius than short-barrel snubs, which translates into tighter groups and easier follow-up shots. The extra capacity cylinder, the Plus, is a real practical win. More rounds without a huge weight or size penalty. Trigger and accuracy. The action on a properly tuned 686 is smooth and confidence-building. Single action or double action, the brakes are consistent enough that you can call your shots and stack precise strings on demand. For shooters who want to transition between controlled pairs and deliberate single-action shots, this frame makes that habit easy to build. Recoil note. With 357 Magnum, you'll still get a firm push, but the gun's mass and frame geometry tame muzzle flip better than lighter snubs. Running 38. Special for practice will let you build fast, clean follow-ups that translate to the hotter loads when you need them. Where it shines, versatility. Competition, range training, defensive use. The 686 Plus does all of them without feeling compromised. Parts availability and aftermarket grips are plentiful, so you can tune ergonomics and sights to suit your hands. Where it loses points, it's not a pocket carry gun, it wants a belt or range bag. Also, some shooters find the factory sights basic. An upgrade to fiber or adjustable sights is worth the modest investment. Pro tip from the line: work both single-action slow-fire and double-action rapid strings in the same session. The 686 rewards the mixed discipline approach and cements your ability to shoot it well under stress. Short verdict: a reliable, shootable revolver that blends accuracy, capacity, and real-world toughness. The Smith & Wesson 686 Plus is a practical choice for someone who wants one wheel gun that does nearly everything. Number 5. Colt Python 2020. The Python 2020 is that rare wheel gun that wears history like a badge, but shoots like it belongs on a modern range. Colt took the classic lines and updated the action and tolerances so the trigger breaks cleaner, the cylinder locks up tighter, and the whole package points like it's begging you to call your shot. Ergonomics. The Python's contouring is unmistakable. Rolled top strap, roomy grip frame, and a barrel that balances the gun so you can hold on target instead of fighting muzzle flip. It's one of those revolvers that feels like an extension of your hand when you get your grip right. Trigger and feel. Single action is buttery compared to most factory revolvers, and double action pull is surprisingly manageable for a full-size 357 capable frame. That combo makes it a joy for precise single shots and competent for deliberate defensive strings. Recoil note. With 357 Magnum, it's still a stout experience, but the Python's mass and ergonomics convert aggressive impulse into a controllable push. For daily practice, 38 Special or 38 Special Plus P will let you build speed and accuracy without beating up your hands. Where it shines, predictable accuracy with a premium feel. Great for shooters who want a revolver that's both practical and satisfying to shoot. The Python rewards clean fundamentals and gives you great feedback when you do the work. Where it loses points, premium feel comes at a premium price, and it's heavier than a sneaky carry gun. If absolute concealability is your priority, there are lighter options that will be easier to carry all day. Pro tip from the line: use the Python to teach single-action precision. Then transition to double-action speed drills. It's a brilliant platform to bridge precision and practical shooting. Short verdict: the Colt Python 2020 sits squarely in the Shoot Me category. Classic looks, modern performance, and a trigger that makes you want to keep shooting. Number 4. Ruger SP101. The SP101 is the little tank in the revolver world. Compact, rock-solid, and built to take abuse while still being eminently shootable. It's that rare small-frame revolver that doesn't feel cheap. Ruger carved this one with real steel and real tolerances, so it points straight and eats follow-ups. Ergonomics. The grip frame is compact but generous enough to seat your hand properly. With the right rubber panels, it tames muzzle flip and gives a surprisingly steady sight picture for a 4 or 3-inch barrel. It's comfortable for sustained strings, which is why a lot of shooters gravitate to it for both carry and range work. Trigger and handling. The double-action pull is weighty but consistent. Not a match trigger, but reliable under stress. Single action is predictable and lets you place shots when you need precision. That consistency is more valuable than a flashy light trigger when you're under pressure. Recoil note. Push 357 Magnum and you'll know you're shooting a Magnum, but the SP-101's mass and grip geometry keep it controllable. It's more forgiving than many snub-style Magnum-capable guns. With 38 Special, it's pleasantly mild and makes for an efficient practice platform, where it shines, toughness, and reliability. This is a revolver you can hand down, take hunting, or carry on a heavy day, and still expect it to run. It's also a great platform to upgrade sights or grips without losing the factory feel. Where it loses points. Size-wise, it's not a pocket gun. It wants a belt and a serious holster. If you're chasing the smallest concealment footprint, there are lighter options, but few will match its durability. Pro tip from the line: invest in a quality holster and a light set of practice loads for high-volume training. The SP-101 rewards consistent practice with dependable performance when it matters. Short verdict: a compact working revolver that balances Magnum capability with everyday shootability. Honest, durable, and built for shooters who want one gun that can do a lot. Number 3. Ruger Blackhawk 41 Magnum. The Blackhawk 41 Magnum is a classic single action that carries a lot of attitude. Big bore, old-school lines, and the kind of muzzle report that announces itself. This is a handgun that wants to be pointed, aimed, and respected. It rewards patience and fundamentals more than fast sprays. Ergonomics. The grip frame on the Blackhawk is generous and traditional. You get a solid hand purchase and a natural sight plane. The balance out front with the full-size barrel helps tame flip and lets you track the sights between shots. If you like feeling the gun, this one tells you exactly what it's doing. Trigger and accuracy. Single action is where the Blackhawk sings. A clean, light break that makes precision work feel simple. Double action? Not the point of this gun. This is a deliberate shooter, not a rapid defensive hammer. On the range, you'll see tight groups when you respect the sights and take the time to pull the trigger cleanly. Recoil note. 41 Magnum has authority. You'll feel a stout push and meaningful muzzle rise compared to 38 Special or even 357 Magnum in some setups. The trade-off is blunt power and excellent terminal performance for hunting or heavy-duty roles. If you train with softer loads, you can get comfortable, but expect a spirited recoil impulse when you feed it full-power rounds. Where it shines: hunting, big game work, and as a deliberate precision wheel gun. It's a tool for when you want a measured, powerful single-action experience rather than an all-around EDC. The Blackhawk also ages like iron. Simple mechanics, easy maintenance. Where it loses points: not a carry piece for most people. Size, weight, and recoil put it out of the daily, everyday conversation. It's also slower for rapid defensive strings and demands more from the shooter in terms of stance and follow-through. Pro tip from the line: start your sessions with lighter target or reduced recoil loads to dial in your sight picture and timing. Then work up to full-power hunting rounds so you know exactly how POI and recoil change with load. Good holster and solid belt if you ever plan to carry it in the field. Short verdict: the Ruger Blackhawk 41 Magnum is a proper field revolver. Not subtle, but honest and precise when handled with respect. Pick it if you want big bore performance and a single-action platform that rewards deliberate shooting. Number 2. Smith & Wesson Mountain Gun. This one wears its name honestly. Built to be taken into rough country and trusted when the stakes are real. The mountain gun variants are stainless, beefed-up revolvers meant to resist the elements and deliver consistent performance when you need power and reliability out on the trail. Ergonomics. The heavier frame and extended barrel options give you a steadier sight picture and help tame muzzle rise compared with short barrel snubs. The grips are made to seat the hand firmly, so you can manage recoil and keep follow-ups on target when the shot counts. Trigger and handling. These guns tend to have a solid, predictable break. Not a show trigger, but one that's repeatable under varied conditions. That repeatability is the point. When you're hunting or working in the field, you want predictable timing, not surprises. Recoil note. Depending on the chambering you choose, .357 Magnum or heavy big-bore options, expect a real push. The mountain gun's mass soaks some of it, but it still demands respect and a steady stance. Practice reduced loads first to learn timing, then step up to full-power hunting rounds when you're comfortable. Where it shines. Reliability in adverse conditions, rugged durability, and performance at effective hunting distances. It's a revolver designed for purpose, not for pocket carry, and it shows in the way it balances and points. Where it loses points. Weight and size. It's not a discreet carry piece, and you'll notice it on a long hike. Also, if your focus is rapid defensive strings in close quarters, there are lighter, faster platforms better suited for that job. Pro tip from the line: if you plan to hunt with one, spend time shooting the exact rounds you intend to use in the field so you understand POI and recoil behavior. Nothing replaces live fire familiarity out past 25 yards. Short verdict: the Smith & Wesson mountain gun belongs on this list because it's a purpose-built revolver that trades concealment for capability. A field tool for shooters who want dependable power off the beaten path. Number 1. Diamondback Sidekick 3-in. The Sidekick 3-in is the kind of compact revolver that surprises people. Small enough to carry, but built to be shot. Depending on the build, you'll see 38 special configurations and even .357 Magnum options in some runs, so know which flavor you've got before you load up. Ergonomics. The short 3-inch barrel keeps the gun compact, while the grip geometry is designed to give a positive hand purchase. Not a toy, but a real little revolver that seats in your palm and points cleanly for a short-barrel wheel gun. It encourages a firm, forward grip, which is exactly what you want when the impulse kicks. Trigger and follow-ups. The double-action pull is serviceable and predictable. Nothing match-grade, but repeatable enough that you can train cadence and get meaningful follow-ups. If your model has a single-action option, use it for precise shots. For defensive drills, settle into a smooth double-action cadence. Recoil note. On 38 Special, it's very manageable. On .357 Magnum, you'll feel a sharp, brisk impulse. The 3-inch barrel and light frame amplify the Magnum snap. Work with lighter practice loads first and build up so your follow-ups stay honest. Where it shines, concealability plus real-world usability. It's an everyday carry candidate for shooters who want a wheel gun that won't get ignored at the bench. Compact, rugged, and surprisingly capable for its size. Where it loses points, short sight radius limits long-range precision, and Magnum loads will make a small frame bite. Also, check holster compatibility. Small revolvers need the right holster to draw cleanly and index consistently. Pro tip from the line: run a mixed session. Start with 38 Special to groove your draw and cadence. Then step up to a few .357 Magnum rounds to understand POI shift and recoil timing. That live fire familiarity is what keeps you effective when it matters. Short verdict: the Sidekick 3-in earns the top spot because it balances real carry practicality with honest shootability. A little revolver that behaves like a grown-up when you treat it like one. And that wraps up our top 10. From pocket-friendly snubs to heavy-hitting Magnum wheel guns, every revolver on this list brings something different to the table. Some shine in concealment, others in raw power or field reliability, but all of them have earned respect out here on the line. Remember, the right revolver isn't just about specs. It's about what fits your hand, your skill level, and the role you actually need it for. Don't just window shop. Get to the range, put some rounds down, and see which one speaks your language. Make sure you like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Stay sharp.